with me. If somebody wants to take help from me, I wouldn't be able to help them due to this language barrier. So that was the first point which triggered me to work on it. Ashutosh, what do you do to improve your English? And that was confident boosting. It was really difficult to find a sincere partner for free. Nowadays, also in 2025, it's really difficult to get someone who's professional or the very good speaker. Obviously not. So the same thing, I wanted to learn English without any, right? So that was really difficult. So when I started using those platforms, a lot of people, they would come and they would abuse the calls without any more than 100 YouTube channels. I just left all those Hindi channels which I was watching Canadian dollars, and later I started getting American
American
dollars from
dollars. Hello,
YouTube.
Ashutosh. Long time
Yes,
no
hi.
see.
Yes, hi. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Very good evening. I'm good. Everything is going great at a constant pace, you can say. But when I look back to your journey, I can say I have seen you grow. Though we have not been much in contact with each other, but I know that you have converted your passion into profession and you have succeeded in doing so to a greater extent. What is your take on
Oh,
it?
thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, passion into profession is a great thing. If you're able to change your passion into profession, that's remarkable. You do which whatever you like, because if you are doing a job which you don't like, I think it drains your energy. But when it comes to like when it is like my passion, I enjoy doing it. At the same time, it gives me money, right? So that is really interesting. Of course, I have been working on it every single day, finding out things like how can I do better, and thanks to people like you who are always supporting me in my journey. And I'm really grateful to them. Due to them only, I'm able to do something good.
So, quality and quantity both are pouring in, I must say, in your
Yeah.
case. That's
Oh,
great.
thank you.
So, Ashutosh, we know each other very well, but at the same time, we understand it very well that so many new persons, many viewers, they are joining this platform every single minute. So, for all of them, you and me, these are two new faces. We are not talking about the
Mhm.
person who know us already. So, I would like
Mhm.
you to tell about you a little bit before we dive into the actual conversation. Before that, I want to take the lead. I'm Dr. Kawaljit Kaur. Basically, an
Mhm.
academician, you know it very well, and for the people out there. So, from the core, I'm an educationist, but I'm someone about whom people say that you are wearing so many hats. I think sometimes it is a sort of majboori, but you see, if credit comes to your lap, then it's okay with it. Yeah, I recently or lately I have plunged into an altogether different arena. I am an educationist. I always want me to be identified as an educationist. But yes, I'm into a business. I have come up with the cafeteria. I'm running a cafeteria at the moment. So I'm enjoying the kind of environment I am in and all the changes I face on day-to-day basis. So this is the thing at the moment I'm surrounded with. And coming back to this conversational part, I'm working on my communication skills, especially to speak this language. This is my main motto, and I've been
Mhm.
working on it for the last more than 2 years. Now you tell me about
That's
yourself.
great.
Yeah.
That's a great introduction. Thanks for it. So when it comes to me, my name is Ashutosh Dwivedi, and I hail from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. About my education, I completed my master's degree, that is, Masters of Arts in English Literature, in 2024. As you know, or many of them would be aware, that I'm on YouTube as well. I have been running YouTube channel since 2021. Even though my core is conversations, I like talking to people as much as I can. At the same time, I'm a spoken English trainer. I help professionals, doctors, engineers, or the people who live abroad, they're Indians. I help them to speak better English. So I'm not wearing a lot of hats like you, but of course, I can say I'm a spoken English trainer, at the same time, a YouTuber, and my goal is to help out people in their spoken English journey. So that's all about me.
Great, great, amazing. So I have a set of questions for you, right?
Sure.
So I would like to ask you all these questions one by one. Though some of the questions you can take, these are just cliche. But sometimes the people who are new to this journey or on this platform, they are definitely going to help them a lot, right? And
Hmm.
very common, very basic question, again, I use this term, it sounds cliche, that what inspired you to learn English in the first place?
Yeah, sorry, there was a glitch.
Yeah. What inspired you to learn this language in the first place?
That's a very interesting question. And of course, I have to go back for my journey why I started. So, first of all, I want to tell you, as I already told, that I'm from Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, and it is Hindi speaking area. Everybody speaks Hindi dominantly, and Hindi is our first language. So even though I was very much into Hindi, I was a good student of Hindi. I scored 99 out of 100 in board 12th class in Hindi. I used to write poems, so I didn't have any thought about this spoken English. I never thought about it a lot. But when I went to university, one day I was in a queue of a bank, and then there was a boy, he came to me and he wanted to ask me something. And then he said he was from other state or other country, I'm not sure, because Banaras Hindu University is an international
Hmm.
university. So he asked me, can you speak English? And I confidently denied. I said, no, I can't. I was really happy saying no to him. That is quite actually, I don't know, because I said it and I felt, oh, nice. Like I said no to him. But when I came back, actually, I realized this is not good. This is not good. If somebody wants to share something with me, if somebody wants to take help from me, I wouldn't be able to help them due to this language barrier. So that was the first point, which triggered me to work on it. And second, I was in my campus, a sports meet were going on, and there were two professors. They were talking to each other in like so smooth English. And my friend and I, they were looking at their faces, that how nicely they were talking. Very nice. But after 1 minute, I felt, oh my goodness, how dumb am I? Why can't I go back and I can work on my spoken English, because I was a graduation student at that time. I was not child anymore. So that was the thing. Those were two cases which gave me and just opportunity or triggered me to work on my spoken English. But again, I was a student of BCom honors accounting. I went back, but I didn't have a lot of time to work on it. I started focusing on my professional subjects like accountancy, business studies, so I didn't get a lot of time. But fortunately, unfortunately, COVID came, and due to that I had to come back to my hometown. And when I was back, I didn't have a lot of things to do. There were online classes, even though professors were not really habitual to conduct online classes, so I was not interested in those classes. Then I thought, like, I should work on something which is going to help me. Either I would die or I would be alive, because COVID was so terrible at that time. Nobody was aware that whether they would be able to live this life or
Hmm.
not. So then I thought, like, why not to work on communication skills? I came across a short video of Warren Buffett where the one anchor asked him that if you would recommend someone to somebody without, despite thinking about their age, what that would be. He said, if somebody works on his communication skills, he'll be 50% better than himself he is right now. And that was remarkable. I just thought, oh my goodness, that was mind blowing. And then I got something which I had to work on, and I started working on my communication skills. So those were the reasons I started working on it. And always I wanted to talk to native speakers. Because due to this language barrier, I was not able to talk to them. And sometimes in the past, I would ask my brother also that why I'm not able to understand these Americans or the British people, but he would say they have a different accent. So I had always curiosity to have conversation with native speakers. And that's how I started my journey with the platforms like Open Talk, Hello Talk, or a Clubhouse, Tandem, Hi Local. All these platforms I started using to have conversation with
Family
them.
too.
That's how it started. Yeah,
Hmm.
Cambly I didn't use a lot, to be honest. It was
Hmm.
paid because my goal was to speak English for free.
Hmm. Hmm. So that way, COVID came your way as a turning point, like a blessing in disguise, I would
Yes,
say.
it was blessings. Mm.
It proved a blessing for so many YouTubers, in fact, whatever be their niche, but like doing something sitting in the comfort of your home. Most of the people they emerged during that phase. They tried their luck and
Right.
that worked on in their favor. Okay,
Yeah,
Ashutosh.
it did.
Yes, my next
Mhm.
question to you is, how did learning English change your life or career? Like you started your
Mm.
journey from scratch, now where you have reached. What kind of change you
Well,
see in your life?
absolutely. As I told you, I come from a commerce background. So goals were completely different from whatever I have now. So I wanted to be a chartered accountant. I was a good student of commerce. But due to COVID-19, I was not able to focus on my studies. At the same time, I started taking spoken English seriously, right? So, how it changed my life when I started learning English, it boosted my confidence like anything. I felt like I'm a different person completely because like the way just when people start appreciating you and everybody asks you about your day, that how do you spend your day, and they have the curiosity to know that how am I learning English. So when I started those platforms and I used to do practice for 8 hours, 10 hours. There was a day in my journey when I spoke English for 10 hours in 24 hours. Not like consistently, but if I would count that, that would come around 10 hours in the span of 24 hours. That happened. So, because I was improving, obviously, then people asked me that, Ashutosh, what do you do to improve your English? And that was confident boosting because I was living in a village. Nobody was just, asking about me. And the COVID, everybody was busy with themselves and about their family, and a lot of people were afraid also talking to their relatives was more often than talking to their friends, right? So that was there. Then when people started asking this, then I just felt, yes, this is something which I can do forever. And I liked listening to people. I liked listening their stories. At the same time, they were asking a lot of things about my spoken English journey. Then I thought, why can't I should continue this, or just as my not profession. Of course, like I wanted to continue because there was no certainty due to COVID-19, and I continued. Then what happened? I joined more than 50 WhatsApp groups for spoken English practice. There were a lot of WhatsApp groups. Then just a lot of people came in touch. Joe Smon sir was one of them. He is from Cochin, Kerala, even though he had a YouTube channel. And then he just recommended me, Ashutosh, why can't you start your YouTube channel? I said, like, that's a great idea, but I have to work a lot about it. Because when somebody is not a YouTuber, they think like making a YouTube channel is a lot of work. Like you have to go through a lot of documentations and things like that. But it was not like that. Only just have a just email or just make a channel. Like it's so easy in that way. Maybe later it is difficult to maintain your consistency and things, but in the beginning it was not. That's how I started. And then few students, actually, I was in touch with a guy. His name was Daman Gill, was from Punjab, living in Canada. Okay. And I used to have a conversation with him for the practice. So he was training two people who were living in Canada, but were from Punjab, and they wanted to get PR, permanent residence there, but they were truck drivers. So their English was really pathetic and basic. So they wanted someone to help them in their spoken English. And then Daman asked me to have conversation with his student. He used to help him sometimes in a week. And then he talked to me, Sarabjit. And then he said, Sir, I want to accept you as my teacher. I said, like, I don't have any idea about this IELTS and things. How would I help you? He said, I don't care about it. I would let you know that what you should teach me, or like what you shouldn't. Then he gave me the syllabus and all those like in the books and the PDF, and then I started my teaching career. And that was confidence boosting, sitting in India teaching people from Canada and getting money in dollars. That was my beginning of profession, obviously, because I was not even thinking about the rupees. Now I was directly getting in dollars, right? And that's how I started. And when it happened, then I thought, oh, wow, like by sitting in India and by talking to people only, I can earn a lot of money. That's how I started. Then I thought, like, no, I shouldn't go a lot for this commerce thing. And I felt this shouldn't be something which I would enjoy my whole life. And then I came into it, and I started working on my YouTube simultaneously. I started getting subscribers. Started getting the request of the people. My fee was quite basic in the beginning, but now it just went up to 10x or more than that, like from that time. And but yeah, but getting money from the Canada was so interesting or just amazing for me. I went to just Western Union, even though I didn't know that how would I get money from just Canada. That I went to Western Union and I got money from there. They guided me everything. So that was the journey when I bought my first tripod also from the first payment. I bought it offline, and then I started my journey on YouTube, and somewhat I can say then there was no looking
Looking
back.
back, yeah,
Yeah.
no looking back. Great, amazing, inspiring story, I must say.
Thank you.
So it sounds so fascinating, of course, and in your own words, it looks more impressive as well. But there, during this process, because nothing comes in an easy way, this is for sure.
Mm.
You have to pay the price for everything. So during this journey, was there any toughest part of this journey came your way, and how did you overcome it?
Very nice. In the previous question, I only covered the high points and the just happiness moments, but now I have to tell you the downs of it and the problems like which I faced. They were really crucial. The first of all was it was really difficult to find a sincere partner for free, which is even though nowadays also in 2025 it's really difficult to get someone who's professional or the very good speaker or you can talk to them for free. They can't. Obviously not. So the same thing, I wanted to learn English without investing a single penny, right? So that was really difficult. So when I started using those platforms, a lot of people they would come and they would abuse me, they would disconnect the calls without any reasons, they would ask silly questions to me related to religions, or a lot of negative things were there. So every single day I had to motivate myself to start my journey again. And some people would say, as I used to say in the beginning, that I want to be a podcast host and I want to be an international speaker. So people just wouldn't believe it. They would make fun of me that, oh, just call me when you become a good speaker, something like that. And that would hurt me a lot, right? So that was the very difficult because mainly I wouldn't point out the name of the countries, but many people from South Asian countries as well, like our neighboring countries, they also just said a lot of negative things, and they would talk about religion. I would say, no, I'm here to improve my English, don't just talk about this. So that was there, and some people would ask some really clueless like questions, like, why are you Hindu? Like, oh my goodness, like, I was born in a Hindu family, that's why I'm Hindu. Like that, from the Somalia or some African countries as well. So that was really hard. And at the same time, like, speaking English when you didn't speak English even once, or even though you don't prefer introducing yourself for 8 hours, that was a challenging or the daunting task for me. Even though I was afraid, I still have that notebook and the diary with me. When I took a challenge in October 2020, then when I decided that I would talk to people for 5 hours every single day. And I was really afraid that even though I didn't have experience to talk with the people for 5 hours in Hindi on phone, how would I do that in English? But the just result was amazing. And the first day only I did conversation for 8 hours 20 minutes. So that was really helping for me. So the I would say the lows of the journey would that sometimes I was also not able to believe in myself whether it work or not, or it would help me, or just I'm taking the right step or not. Some of friends of mine, they criticized me that you are a good student of commerce, then why are just you doing it? Like, maybe it is something which is not going to help you in future. And that was really difficult step for me to work on. but I continued and I didn't tell a lot of people like who were in my touch, but I was always, and some of them also used to say maybe he has got a girlfriend from South India or maybe any other country. That's why he talks, because always I used to talk on my terrace. And some of my neighbors also would make fun of me. They would say a lot of negative things about me, not directly, but my
Hmm.
mother would come to know those things. But I didn't work, just think about all those
Didn't
things, and I
bother.
continued my journey. And when I got that money in dollars and I gave to my mother, then she understood that it is something which is gonna just
Hmm.
help him in future. Because in the beginning she used to also ask this question that English would not give you everything, and you wouldn't be able to do whatever you want to do, just due to this spoken English as well. And I used to mimic foreigners, so they would say like, why you mimic like an American guy? I would laugh like an American, speak like a British, even though my sister would make a lot of fun of me in the beginning. But when I got money from it, I started training students. Then they realized it is something which can make a lot of impact. So that's how it is. And it was not easy. Of course, every journey is not easy. It is not piece of cake. For everybody has some just challenges, even though I had the same. I didn't have people with whom I can converse with them in English because I was in village. So I was completely dependent online, and it was really difficult to get sincere people over there.
Hmm.
So I tried multiple platforms to get people, and I'm fortunate enough, of course, that after a few years I got some good people who became good friends of mine, and I started doing conversation with them. That's how it was. So a lot of problems. Number one, I didn't get sincere people in the beginning. Then second thing about like politics, religion, all those stuff like which I didn't want to talk about, even though at that time. And then all these problems. And even though your family members are the one who make fun of you in the beginning, but later maybe they appreciate. So I used to believe in a one thing: the people who make fun of you in the beginning, later they would clap for you. I had that self belief in myself that I would be able to do it, and I started listening to Priyanka Chopra, Sadhguru, Gaur Gopal Das, Steve Harvey, Ellen DeGeneres, Tom Bayu, Ranveer Alavadia, Jay Shetty. So I was following all those people who were really confident enough with whatever they were doing. So I thought, like, why can't I? So, and I used to take inspiration from Munima Masari, Malala Yousafzai, that if she can get a Nobel Prize at the age of like 20 or like 19, why can't I be on that stage? So a lot of inspiration, self-talk. That's how then I continued and I came a long way. Like it's been 5 years now.
Kudos to you. You deserve it. You have earned it.
Thank
Because
you.
when your people, your own people, your family was not proving supportive, they were not by your side.
Mhm,
It was your self-belief which has brought you here.
mhm.
Great, great.
Yes, absolutely.
So that way it becomes very important for the learners who are the beginners or who are joining this platform on everyday basis. Every day, every single day, they are coming on this platform for the same reason. They want to work on their communication skills or they want to speak in this language. What method helped you the most when you were like learning English so that could be that proves helpful for the new learners also?
Yes. Absolutely, a very nice question again, because it is very important to know that what to do, like to improve your English. Like, suppose you started your journey, but now you don't even know like what to do to become better at it, right? So I started my journey by talking to people. I believed I followed a rule that was 80-20. 80% I used to give for speaking, and 20% I used to give for all these things like listening, watching, consuming content. So, because what I believed in, I studied in a school where I was able to write, I was able to understand, but only which one thing was lacking, that was I was not able to speak, right? So,
Hmm.
writing, reading, understanding was there in me. It can differ to person to person. So I think don't follow whatever I say as it is. Just relate to your own level as well. So
Hmm.
because I scored good in English also, it was like 90 out of 100 in 12th board CBSE. So I was good enough in writing and understanding English. But one thing was there which I was lacking tremendously. That was spoken English. So I gave more time to spoken English. And from first day onwards, I started talking to strangers. At the same time, next point, following the trainers. I started following more than 100 YouTube channels. I just left all those Hindi channels which I was watching before. I started more than following more than 100 YouTube channels which were in English only, so I would get everything on my just YouTube in English. And I followed the teachers. If I would take a name of just those, Bob the Canadian, Venetia, English with Lucy, Lingo Marina, all these like international trainers. I was into international people from my first day onwards because I wanted to sound like an international speaker, obviously. And this is also my goal till now, that I want to be an international speaker. I want to talk to people from all around the world. So that's how it is. I started watching their lessons. I started making notes from it. At the same time, I started executing those things while talking to people. So that was one thing, like spoken English. And whatever the feedback I would get from people, I would write that down in my notebook, and I would try to execute that in next session. The funny thing, like, I was not aware of the questions that how are you up to, what do you do for your living. I thought like what I do for my living, that was so confusing. I thought like I eat food for my living, that's it. So so I was not,
Got
I
it.
was aware of only like how are you, that's it. But when people would come up with the actually the synonyms of those words, or the actually kind of what I can say substitutes of those sentences, I wouldn't be able to answer that. And I would ask them that what does it mean? Then they would simplify, and that I would write down in my notebook. That was the first step. Second, I started reading out loud. I used to take a paragraph and I would read out loud. That is very important activity. Okay. Third, tongue twisters. I started practicing tongue twisters to become fluent, and that was my really favorite activity because I would try to do that in 5 seconds, 6 seconds, like, to make it like faster to slower, like in all these actually pace. And I would upload them into the WhatsApp groups which I was just in. And then what actually motivational stories kind of stuff, like I started giving the motivational speech in front of mirror and front of
Mhm.
camera also. I would stand in the front of mirror and I would speak like a Narendra Modi. I would wave my hand for a few moments and I would feel, yeah, people are waiting for my speech. That kind of manifestation I did. And I was just assuming that, of course, a day will come when people will wait for my speech and people will wait for my words. So that I used to do on camera or on just mirror as well. And then self talk. Whenever I would go out, I would do just cycling, or I would go by bicycle. I would talk to myself. I would talk to myself like the same motivation that if Malala Yousafzai, Greta Thunberg, they can do it at the age of like I am, why can't I? So that kind of things. And I started listening to radio, US radio, UK radio, lot of applications I used to improve my English. So I told a lot of activities. So all those things I just did. Moreover, I spoke a lot. That's what I can say.
You haven't left any stone unturned, Ashutosh.
I
So
tried everything possible to
there is
improve.
nothing left behind. What
Oh,
else? What
thank
else is
you.
to be done? You have experimented with everything. And this is a reason that you are here today, where you have reached. But one thing
Yeah,
is for
now I
sure,
want to experiment a lot of things with the
yeah, you have
YouTube so I can go
experimented a
more
lot.
up.
But it is
Yeah.
true for the learners, for the beginners, that speaking comes with speaking. At least they must incorporate this thing in their daily life, that they must invest more on speaking, depending upon their rest of the priorities and what else they are doing. But if they want to converse in this language, then speaking simply comes with speaking. That's true.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
and the self-talk is very, like, mostly everybody complains that we don't find anybody around to talk to in this language.
Mhm.
But I think self-talk is enough. You be your own company. That is a very good exercise, and that works in your favor also, isn't it?
Yes, and there was a statement which I always to just I used to tell myself that something is better than nothing always.
Yes, yes.
So you can't get the professionals for free. You can't get native speakers to have conversation with you every single day. So that I believed in that something is better than nothing always. Absolutely. So that I did.
One question out of this context. You are quite
Mhm.
fascinated by the native speakers. You have named almost all
Uh-huh.
the Western countries and European. nations you are talking about.
Mhm.
Do you have the plans to move out somewhere, leaving India?
Not at all. Just, spontaneous answer, I would say not at all. I don't have
Mm,
any plan to go abroad. But when I started my journey, I used to think a lot about US, UK, Australia, all these native English speaking countries like South Africa, New Zealand. But later I realized that problems are everywhere. It's
mm,
not all about like getting the good streets in Canada, but the problems you would face there. You have to work there like a machine, and to build own your house, it will take your whole generation. Maybe it can take 10 or 15 years. When I would be 50, my kids would enjoy it, but I had to struggle a lot. And now things are quite complex than it just were in the past, right? So then I left thinking about it. And second thing, my parents, I'm the only son of my parents, not the only child, only son of my parents. I have two elder sisters. So my parents said, no, I don't want you to go really far away. I just accepted it. And even though they don't want me to go to like, Bangalore or the Mumbai or the Delhi, big cities like that. So that's why I'm in Kanpur only. And I'm pretty satisfied, and I accepted it that it's very good. This is my responsibility to be there for them, because they were there for me when I was child. So as I'm the only son, so somewhat I have to take care of them. And even though if I'm close, I don't go there every single day, but it makes them happy that I'm living close. So at least if something happens, I can go back early, right? So that's why I don't have also, and I'm doing everything online. So I don't have a plan to set up offline things or to get a lot of money from the business. That's why I'm not thinking to go abroad, even though I don't have a plan to go to a big city till now.
Okay, okay. Another question. Um, how do you deal with the mistakes? Like when you are conversing with someone, and this is sort of automatic kind of thing that we sometimes start making mistakes, and we are aware of that also a number of times
Mhm,
that at this very moment I have made a mistake.
mhm.
This is the kind of question which is normally asked by I used to have these kinds of queries in the comments, and whenever we are having conversations with the strangers, they also come up with this kind of situation. Ma'am, how do you tackle this situation? I want to know what is like in what way you handle that situation.
It's pretty obvious to make mistakes. That is not a huge thing. Everybody does it. Even though I was talking to a native speaker today, and he was telling like it's common to make mistakes.
Mm.
But what is not common while you are speaking or giving a final performance? To put whitener on it. Sometimes what people do when they make the mistake, and again they try to repeat the same sentence to correct it. So that tells you that it is like putting the whitener on your mistakes. Even though if people are not able to recognize it and the people are not able to notice it, they are going to do it now. So what you have to do, if you're not able to frame a sentence, particular sentence due to any word, just come up with a different sentence. Don't wait for the word, or don't just be resist to just say that sentence with that particular tense only, right? That is going to make you blank at the time and you would be nervous, right? Better come up with a different way of saying it, right? Because there are many ways of saying the same thing, not only the one tense or the one particular sentence, right? So that is the first thing which I do if I'm giving a final
Mm.
performance. But if you're talking to someone and it is not being recorded, you're talking to your friend, that time it's completely fair because it's a practice session, right? And you want to improve. If he interrupts you, then of course work on it. But like suppose right now I'm doing this video, now I don't want to do it. Of course I want people to watch it like the final thing in the raw conversation which I'm doing right now. So the main and most important thing is that if you are making mistakes, don't just try to correct it then and there if you are in a final performance or giving a very good speech, because everybody does not pay that much attention to it. But yeah, some geek would do. If somebody is the expert of it, like they're spoken English trainers, very obsessed with the grammar, for sure they are able to find it out, like what kind of mistake you have done. But it's all about more about your messages, right? What you are conveying, and if people are able to understand, because it is a communication, right? Even though without speaking also you can convey your message by symbol, right? By sign
By
languages. So the
gestures,
what
body
is the goal of
language.
the languages? What is
Mm.
the goal of the language is to make others understand, not to just go 100% accurately. And it is not my first language as well. That always I have to remember that this is not my first language, right? So all these things they can follow, but auto correction goes in your mind. That is a very good thing. Maybe just when you complete the session, watch it again and write your own mistakes, which I do sometimes when I edit my own videos. Nowadays, to be honest, I'm telling you, I don't do it a lot. But in the past, when I used to watch my videos, I would watch them and write those mistakes also, which I did, or which I just do frequently. So at least when you know what kind of mistakes you do every single day, then even though giving that instruction to your mind reduces those mistakes because you are
Mm.
conscious of that. Maybe at least if you make it 5 times, that you would get in your mind like 2 times that no, I shouldn't do it now. So that's how it is, reminding yourself again and again that this kind of mistakes are common with you. So that is there. But mistakes are the part of your journey. You can't remove them. It is not like you would start speaking English accurately from the first day onwards. Same thing with anything, of course, in the world. Like YouTube video, like if I would tell you, like if you would watch my first video, which I did, that wasn't perfect, right? Maybe I have improved, but so this is the part of the journey. Every single day you improve, but ignoring them for a long time, that is also not the solution. Just take small things every day and try to work on it.
Mm. Right. Good answer, I must say. There are a number of ways to convey the same thing. Like you can use the
Mhm.
synonyms if
Right.
suppose you are stuck with some word, like the word is not
Mm-hmm.
coming in your
Mm-hmm.
mind. But at the same time, we convey so much without
Mm-hmm.
saying, without uttering a word, like with our body language. That plays a crucial role,
Yes.
conveying our message to the other side. So yes, I
Right.
resonate myself with you. You have already narrated a part of your journey, like in this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
that how did you connect with the natives? And they have always fascinated you a lot. But again, I'm asking you the same question, that how did knowing this language help you? Like when you took the first step, you started
Mm-hmm.
conversing or you got the first opportunity to connect with the native. How did that do you remember that first moment when you connected for the very first time with some native?
Yes, I remember that. I was on Hello Talk. There was an application that was Hello Talk. Yes, Hello. I think HALLO. It was not
Okay.
usual. It was not HELLO. It was
Hello.
HALLO. So I used to do practice there, and there I remember. So even though you had to pay to have conversation, but I was a regular student there, and then I requested him that, sir, I want to have conversation with you. Then he gave me this because I used to give answer, writing the answers in the chat box or the like that. So they gave me this opportunity for free. I still remember I was talking to Richard from United States of America, teacher Richard, and my just throat was drying up. Like I don't know what happened. I was not able to speak, and I was speaking so fast. I was speaking like a super fast train, but he understood. Maybe he got the idea what I was trying to convey. So my goal was to finish it as early as possible. Even though I got that opportunity, even though that is that you can't talk to them for hours and hours, right? Because it was paid for others and they had a limited time. So I had conversation with them only like hardly for 2 or 3 minutes, but that was confidence boosting at the same time because it was a kind of dream come true. I was just imagining to have conversation with the native speakers, and I started and I had a conversation with him. So it was really nice, but I was really afraid to speak. I was not able to control my pace. I was losing my confidence. I was forgetting my own words and thoughts that what I had to ask him. So that's how it is. But somehow I just managed. Means like even though you want to say something else, but you end up saying something else due to that low confidence and fear. So that happened with me. But then later I had a conversation with a guy, Safi from Australia, and another man from Manchester, UK on the same application. So that helped me to get that confidence. And then later I approached some of the YouTubers and I had a conversation with them for my channel. And then I started using Clubhouse. And from there, I just got a very good opportunity to have an international community. So I have friends from there, like America, Scotland, or all of those countries. So now it became a very normal thing for me to have conversation. That's how I started interacting with the native speakers. As I told, if I would sum up this answer, that I started my journey with Halo application. I did conversation with three native speakers there. Then I came to know about Clubhouse by Josh Mohan sir, and when I started using it, there also I got some native speakers from America, Scotland, all these people, and they became good friends of mine because I used to host event on Clubhouse. So that's how like it became a really confident boosting thing, and now I have a lot of friends from there, and it's a very normal thing for, even though I want, so I can talk to them anytime, but nowadays I don't have sufficient time to talk to them. That's how this I started my journey as a trainer that boosted my confidence and gave me a hope to become a trainer so I can help others to speak English. I trained most of the Indians who were living abroad, and I trained people from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, all these countries as well. So that gave me a hope to start my career in it. And then I continued with the YouTube. YouTube was something which was giving me students and all these stories, a lot of stories. That was quite interesting because beginning is always impressive, right? And my beginning were from the dollars. Oh my goodness. I even though I think like, oh, getting in dollars, that was an amazing thing. And later I started getting like, first I got Canadian dollars, and later I started getting American
American
dollars from
dollars.
YouTube. So that's how it
That's
was. And
great.
then I got connected with a lot of Indian professionals as well, who are engineers, doctors, or come from like various backgrounds. So I helped them to speak English, and that just gave me everything. So I changed my passion into profession. So all these things are the part of my own story, where I started with and then where I am now. So